Good Monday evening. We are live on Michael Pepper Tech, and today we're going to talk about mental health and technology, dealing with mental health, and how it affects us all. So, first of all, I want to say that this is something that is near and dear and very personal to me. Something that has affected me greatly in the last 6 months, almost a year now. And I want to share a little bit of my personal story when it comes to mental and physical health. So, around early June, my son's birthday is June 6th, and we were setting up for his birthday and all excited to celebrate. And I started having panic attack, and I didn't know what it was. I just know I had to get out of the park. I needed to get home, nauseated and all that. Felt like I was gonna, throw up. And so I got home and immediately felt better. I was dry heaving. My sister called me and she had no idea what was going on, didn't know that I needed somebody to talk to. And I just kind of broke down and let her know, hey, I need help. So she helped me arrange consult, finding a counselor. And so I've been going in counseling since June 21st was my first appointment, with the exception of a 1 year or a 1 month gap in there when my insurance lapsed. So mental health, I believe, is equally, if not more important sometimes than physical health. Physical health a lot of times can be something that can be seen. You have somebody who's overweight, maybe they have a heart problem, maybe they have vision problems, maybe they have like certain physical attributes that can be seen are more obvious. Mental health, well, yeah, it can show up in a scan, and there are certain things that can determine, okay, you might have a certain mental disorder, but quite often goes unseen as something that all of us either personally have or know somebody who has dealt with it. And so the significance of that is that I feel like, just like technology, mental health is something that is important to discuss and something that we can all kind of bond over. And it doesn't have to be something negative, it can be so positive. So I want to get into a little bit and, not have it be such a down discussion because, oh, yeah, it can be depressing and it can be whatever. But let's get into it a little bit here and talk about, first of all, I want to point out a couple things. We are talking about mental health technology. And first of all, I want to talk about what mental health tech do I use. And some of you may use similar stuff, but you might think, oh, smartwatch. But no, I'm actually going to say smartphone. Significantly important because this is a device that all of us have. Not all of us have a smartwatch. Some of us might just have an exercise tracker or just a regular watch or things that we'll get into later, like the rings and things like that. With a smartphone, I say that this is the number one mental health technology because you can use it to reach out to somebody when you need help via text, via call, video chat. You can reach out. A lot of times, health providers will allow free video consultation, and you don't have to pay a thing where, going to your doctor or going maybe to an urgent care or going to a facility when you're having an issue, if you're having a panic attack, can cost money. And most insurance companies, free of charge. Even if you don't have insurance, a lot of times it's free of charge. Number one thing. Another part of phone is YouTube or certain apps like Calm. Go to YouTube and you can get breathing exercises that teach you how to calm your body, how to relax your mind, how to escape moments when you're having anxiety. So what I do is I have a playlist that I've saved some videos to, because when you're going through mental health issues, anxiety, panic attack, you're not going to think straight to just, type out what you want. So I have that, and I've put a AAA in front of it so that it pops up as the top list. I also have one that's for sleep. And so, mental health a lot of times affects our sleep. It can affect our work, and it can affect relationships, romantic, friends, whatever relationships. And so that's something that I think we all need to focus on a little bit. The next thing I want to talk about, and I alluded a little bit to, was Samsung's Ring. And they touched on this a little bit today, and I think why it's so significant, even though pricing on some of these things, on some of these rings, could be $300-400, and then sometimes you have a subscription besides, is that there are a lot of places where smartwatches cannot be worn. Some universities do not allow things with screens. Some places you can't have anything that has a microphone for recording or a screen on it, because you could use it to, cheat on a test or whatever. So smart ring, I think, is very important. The other aspect of it is it doesn't have a display. So the things that it's tracking through motion, through the sensors, the battery life on some of these can be so much longer. And for maybe people who travel, maybe people who have long days of work and they don't want to get home and have to think, oh, I need to charge my watch every day. And yeah, there are watches out there that have much longer battery life. OnePlus announced their OnePlus Watch 2 has that. My Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, I can get 3.5-4 days, even with sleep tracking, with the constant heart rate monitoring, with the ECGs that I run, and oxygen measuring and things like that. So I think that a ring is as nice, and yeah, they'll work in like collaboration with your phone or even with a watch. And I think that just having that extra data to improve accuracy, to make things. And then the other thing is, some people just are allergic to certain materials and have a hard time finding a watch band that they can use with a smartwatch. And yeah, and a lot of smartwatches now use standard 20 or 22 millimeter bands. So using a ring is something that I think, it also doesn't say, hey, like, I'm using technology, I need health monitoring, or I have a problem or whatever. It just is there, it links up, and it's out of the way. And it's also something that if you're out on a date or you're out doing things, that you're not going to be distracted looking down at your watch all the time wondering, oh, notifications aren't going to alert you and be like, oh, what's that? You can take your phone, have it in your pocket, have do not disturb on. I'm all about technology that helps us kind of, funny enough, use our technology less. So that's one thing that I wanted to discuss with that today. The other thing is Wear OS feature that will make ditching the Apple Watch easier. And what do I mean by that? So I'll just leave that up. I was going through Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, before the live stream, and I saw it was mentioned some feature drops that Google talked about. And one of the things that they mentioned in particular was allowing third-party app integration within the Fitbit, or like Google Fit app. So that means our Oura Ring and some other apps can integrate with it. Well, if that API is open, then there's things like, I have an app that my doctor's office uses, and so I use my Apple Watch, or was using it more, and had a hard time really getting away from it and using other brands. And then that kept me using my iPhone strictly because it was just easier, and the integration with it and MyChart, which is the app that my doctor's office uses. It's what hospitals around here use. It's what a lot of places use. And so the integration where any of my health data can go into the Apple Health app and then over to my doctor's office app. If I'm, feeling off, I can do an ECG, I can do heart rate, and I can tag it in there. And then that information I can send over to my doctor and say, hey, this is my heart rate information when I'm feeling nauseated. Does this kind of tell you anything? And get that feedback. So it's very beneficial to me, and something I think that I wish more companies would consider. So seeing that this is something that with the Pixel Watch and other Wear OS devices is going to be made available, where more cross compatibility between apps is very significant, and something I'm curious to see. Hopefully Samsung brings quickly as an update through, Watch One UI to Galaxy Watch. So health tech in the future. where do I see it going? Well, right now there are these headsets that you can get, and Apple has the Vision Pro, and then there's like the Meta Quest, and there's the Ray-Bans. There's different styles of things everywhere, from a full-blown computer on your head with spatial computing or whatever you want to call it, to something that's more for games and it has its own OS, but it maybe requires external computing to really be a full-on computer, to a pair of glasses that can record content, play audio, to things like the Humane AI pin, to just different things that are wearables, away from just a smart watch or a smart ring. Where do I see it going? Is I see that not only does it allow access to recording more information so that you can personally track your own data and you can look at it and see if it's off, but the other thing I would say is I see it going into the aspect of, if you could have glasses, and let's say I'm having a panic issue. I talked about some apps, and I talked about watching videos and like the sounds from them, and they're giving you instructions on to do these breathing techniques. But if I could just tap on my glasses and say, I'm having a panic attack, and I just put my hand like that, or I use like a key phrase, hey Meta, hey Noodle, hey Siri, whatever. I'm having a panic attack, and it pings up and starts giving me instructions, maybe through speakers that go right to my ear, or I'm wearing earbuds, and it says like, hey, you can relax, and guides you through some things. And then maybe a couple minutes later, and it's monitoring in correlation with your heartbeat, with your watch, with a ring, whatever. And if it notices that things haven't changed, says like, do you need us to contact help? And you can say, yeah, call my wife or my son or my, whatever. Then it can do that. Because there are times that it's not like, oh, I've fallen, so I need help. There are times where other health issues are of concern. And so I think that that's great with technology. And I'm going to get into the chat a little bit here now. Hello, Miles, Ike, Sean, Michael Cochran. Yes, bringing the hot pepper spice to tech. I have a smart jacket. That'd be fun. Actually, there are jackets that technically are smart jackets that have heating and cooling, and even some technology that companies are working on with sensors in like the cuffs and things like that. So you joke about that, but I think smart clothing, there's actually APIs and things like that for app developers to utilize to integrate into shoes, pants, jackets, shirts, things like that. And I think that is something that could be really significant and could be really helpful. I mean, you might joke about it, but IT. What's the best smartwatch you've ever had? Well, as far as feature-rich ability, I will say I'll put the Apple Watch at the top just right now, like I said, because of the integration with like mutual health stuff with other. But I'll also say the Galaxy Watch because battery life. And I've had the TicWatch Pro 3. The problem I had with that is I had issues with the sensors. I contacted them. They said, hey, we'll send you a replacement. And then I heard nothing back. So customer support is something I really pitch when I talk about technology. Not that I've imported devices, but I've had good response with customer support with that as well. But I'll say, if you just want health data, the hard time I have with one of the things I think about when I think about first party companies, so Apple Watch, Samsung Galaxy Watch, Pixel Watch, companies that make a watch but also make the smartphone, is that they have, whether it's a good thing or not, a ton of data, which helps them improve the accuracy of the equipment. Not that like Garmin and some other companies are not accurate, because they've been making health monitoring, fitness tracking devices for years, and Fitbit has all that data as well. But Google owns Fitbit now. I think that when you think about like what watches are the majority of people going to use, they're going to use an Apple Watch, the top selling smartwatch, one of the top selling watches around the world. But it's also going to be watches from specific brands, Huawei, Xiaomi, and from companies that make other tech. And part of that is because you know that you get the full-on features. The pairing is easy, so you go to set it up and quick pairing with your phone. Transferring to another device is easy and is quick. And especially more recently, setting up a new phone, switching from the S23 Plus to the S24 Ultra, and it just easily moved over with Smart Switch. I think that for me, it depends on what phone you have, but usually the best has been from those companies. OnePlus now has a watch. I cannot vouch to, for it or against it until I get my hands on one, which hopefully, in the next couple months or so, I'll be doing that. And I'm not in any rush to get it right now. I'll be one of the first. I review technology as I, can get my hands on it, as money allows and things like that. And speaking of as money allows, ways that you can support your fellow content creators, ways that you can, let them know that you care, which can help with mental health as well. Things like I have a Buy Me a Coffee that's in the links will be in the link in the comment down, in the description down below. Patreon, where I write about my tech experiences. I also have one of those. You can check that. It will be linked down below. Of course, Cash App, is always there as well. But the thing I think that is significant about all this is it does really depend on what your needs are for mental health. And so first off, what I would say is check with your doctor. Talk to your doctor, get a reference. Then you can, check with places around you that provide the best help, that have people that are focused in particular fields for whatever you need. There's addiction, there's OCD, there's ADD, there's ADHD, there's abuse. There's all sorts of mental health stuff that we go through, traumas, anxieties. Sometimes they're a reaction to our physical health. Sometimes it's people have gone through breakups, people have dealt with death, divorce, all sorts of circumstances in life that cause direct, indirect drama, damage to our mental health. I've had people who have attempted things on themselves, and I'm being careful how I phrase that. Or one of my best friends, his dad unalived himself, I'll put it that way. And so he deals with every year around his dad's birthday, the trauma of that, every year around the time that it happened, the trauma of that. And so what I'll also say is, like, if you don't have somebody you can talk to, and you feel comfortable reaching out to me, reach out to me. Check out, I have a Twitter. I have you can comment down in the comments below. You can email me. My email is there, michaelpeppertech@gmail.com. You can connect with me on Threads, Instagram. I'm all about trying to help people. And so I think that one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this on this live stream is because it's something that not a lot of us talk about, and more of us should talk about it. And I'm all about having the tech discussions. I'm all about talking about the things that are not necessarily so pleasant to talk about, but are important to talk about. So let's beyond this kind of, like I'd say, dark and down story about things. Let's talk about where I see this taking place. So, into the future of technology that will affect mental and physical health, I think is fitness. Not all of us, can go to the gym, but being able to use things like Apple's health app and their fitness, um, being able to go on and have virtual training, being able to maybe connect your phone up to a pair of smart glasses and have kind of a 3D instruction, connecting your phone maybe to like your bike and going out and biking or taking a walk, and it will, doing guided walks, um, audiobooks that instruct you. Maybe you just listen to an audiobook and it makes your walking go faster. Meditation, if you're into that. Maybe you just need something to distract you. So just putting in music. I think that we forget that like you don't have to have dedicated tasks that are specific for mental health, but can be things that affect your mental health positively. So putting on music, finding new music, um, watching comedy, playing games. You know, we say, kids get too stuck into using their devices, but sometimes it's things like interactive games. You have a tablet, maybe. You have a tablet. Maybe you have a foldable, something that's a phone that could be made into a mini tablet. Just putting up a game, a word search, a Scrabble, something you can do together, and binding and having, contact with other people directly, indirectly. FaceTime, Google Meet, Skype, video calls, just picking up your device and making a call to somebody you haven't talked to in a while, reaching out to people saying, "How are you?" Not just having like these battling discussions or criticizing people or harping on people, just seeing how people are. Live streaming like I'm doing right now. You know, I don't know, could be only a handful of people watching, but interacting and doing this, like getting things off your mind. Um, Maybe you're somebody who has been thought about. What phone is your SIM currently? It's in my S24 Ultra. It's actually eSIM because I was using my iPhone, and then also, if you haven't checked it out, I'm doing a whole series on switching from iPhone and to Android. Actually switching, apart from using this to create content because I can't record on the device that I'm using, and um, I like the recording quality out of it for video and audio and some of the features. And then there's apps that I'm used to. LumaFusion has some features on there that's not available on the Android side. But anyways, I talk about that. There is a whole playlist of that as well on my channel. And I talk about what that experience has been like. I talk about going from Mac OS to Windows. I'll be talking about what it'll be like going from an iPad to a Samsung tablet, which I've had the Samsung tablet since basically it came out. So that's been a while. I watched Mr. Mom the other day, and it was like mainlining nostalgia. I don't know if I've seen that movie. I should check that out. Is that something? Let's see. What is that on Netflix? It looks like it's on a number of things. Okay. Amazon Prime Video. Yeah, through Netflix. I'll find it and check it out. I think that this is just, I don't know, getting back into it, we all feel like, oh, mental health, that's such a serious thing, and I need to be so deeply focused on it. And realistically, I don't know that you need to consciously be focused on certain things. I don't know that it's something that we can do without having to be like, oh, I need to spend so many hours a day or so much time a day. It'll be easier when Qi 2 comes out and Android has the same functionality, MagSafe. Yeah, but you can, buy cases most for a lot of phones, or like a ring and put it on it to add that functionality. Um, Actually, my original discussion for this week was going to be talking about switching from Apple to iOS and Mac OS to Windows and Android. So we can talk about that a little bit. I want to make sure it can help sometimes too. Oh yeah, Michael Keaton. He's great. Yeah, technology as we utilize it in our life and we have these important discussions. Mental health. I think the other thing is just talking about your frustrations. Like, hi Angelique, you're not late, never late, always just on time. No, so one of the things I put out on Twitter, and I'll just kind of read this to you. So like, I feel like this speaks to the text-based comments lately. A, has a $1,200 iPhone. B, your phone is too much because mine can do X, Y, and Z. A, switches to $1,300 Samsung that can do just about everything. B, why would you pay that much when this $800 phone can do 90% of what your phone can do? A, what do you use your phone for? B, mostly calls, texting, some social media, and taking some photos. A, so the same thing that iPhone could have done back when you complained it was too much. This isn't an actual conversation, but more of a summary of what I see taking place. The irony here is fantastic, though. People will criticize someone for their device not doing certain things, even though they won't actually use the extra features which come with other devices. Then they proceed to argue that other device that does way more is too expensive. In the end, the people who want more do exactly what a device that does less offers to begin with. Consider what you use your device for and what others do before questioning others' use of said device, and generalization of every user's need to stop. Same thing, ridiculing others. The same people ridiculing others show that they'd be horrible sales or marketing people and have no insights into why people use particular aspects of their phones. It's a conversation I wish more people would have. It's why I support smaller channels. It's why I love supporting um, fellow content creators like Juan Bagnell and TK Bay and Barry Johnson, and just different ones who really get into the nitty gritty and talk about these specific features. Did you miss the tea? No, sort of. Not really. I would say, check back at the beginning. I was just talking about mental health, and I shared my story, and then talked about certain tech features and where I see it going, and some announcements in tech today, and how mental health doesn't have to be something so what's the term? I want to say like you push it away, but it doesn't have to be something so hard to discuss, and something so to the point where people think it's like something that shouldn't be discussed, or is something that's, what's the term? Taboo. Thank you. Yes, taboo. Thank you. I knew you would come up with it. So taboo. Yeah, it doesn't have to be something that we all are like, oh, this person has mental health issues. Feel bad for them. Or this person has mental health issues. They're messed up, and it's like, yeah, but we all have things that we struggle with and need to talk about and can focus on, and we can use the products in our pocket to kind of talk about and share our experience. That's the other thing. I feel like a lot of us don't share things unless it's criticisms. It's either got to be something really, 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 really exciting that happened. Oh, I got married. Or, oh, I'm having a baby. Or, oh, look at my new car. Or, oh, look at this cool device I got. But then we don't share when we have issues, and we don't share our personal stuff. And I get it. We don't want to get too personal. But we don't reach out to each other. we don't do the things and talk about things that can really truly help our fellow humans. And it's sad that it's gotten to that point. Even in comments, it's great. And I've loved seeing people make comments about, like, hey, this helped me make a purchasing decision, or, oh, I loved your reaction, or, oh, that's a different perspective. And while that's really cool, I just wish that more of that was done, like more of the personal perspective. And I think that's part of what links health and technology to me, is that I found myself sharing my journey more and more with people. And I found that not just the journey of like mental health, but the journey of using my technology and how I do it, and the journey of moving between technology, and truly like the struggles and the annoyances, not just all the good stuff, because sometimes it's like every video is about, oh, this is all these cool features, but they don't talk about when certain things don't work, or they don't talk about how to get around certain things. Are you going to have channel memberships anytime, Michael? I don't see a join button. Once I am monetized, so I'm about halfway to the hours that you need to get to start doing the membership. So they've reduced the hours to 3,000 to get channel memberships and super chats, but still 4,000 hours for full monetization. Part of the reason I'm doing live streams is to gain the hours to get to that point. But on that point, I mean, if you do want to help, I do have like buy me a coffee, which then that 100% goes to me. Patreon as well will be linked in the description. I can actually pull up and add that stuff. I think right now I might be able to add it while we're live. But if not, it will be in the comments down below. Let me go in. Let me go to live. Let me go here. I'm not sure that I can add it in the, you know what I can do though, is I can add it from my notes into the chat. So let me do that real quick. So let's see. Chat. So there, I have a couple links in the down in the chat. You'll be able to see here my Patreon and buymeacoffee.com/Michael Pepper Tech are linked down there, and that's ways you can support the channel. I do have a Cash App. That's just $Michael Pepper Tech. There you go. I wish I had memberships ready. I wish that you could get them sooner, but not always. Angelique says, I don't publicly talk about why I'm struggling with, because I believe it gives it power. Discussing can be helpful sometimes, but my goal is to be temporary and move through it. Yeah, that's true. For me, I just find discussing things as part of my personality of, like, how do I say this without sounding effective? Like, the fact that I'm human. And so part of my discussions with my tech is like, I don't only talk tech, I live it. So I show how I use it in life. And so for me, part of the idea of the discussion that we're having tonight is not just focusing on it, but how I can take the power back and use it to benefit other people. So instead of letting it go over, let it take over my life, I can use it to benefit others. I can use it as a lesson to learn from. So anytime, I think anytime we deal with things, it's great to learn from it. Michael Cochran says, yes, it's a tough balancing act because talking about it helps in the stigma, but stigma still exists. So talking about it can have social or professional consequences. That's true. It can really be chaotic for some people, and it depends on the field you work in as well. But for me, I don't know, I just find that it's been an amazing and an awesome, yes, I just made up a word, amazing and awesome journey interacting with other people who are having similar things going on. Hey, Ron. Hope you're having a blessed evening. Um, Savage Scientist. Ed, how's it going? Um, so back what I was talking about, the idea of the stigma on it, I think that also depends on like how you look at it, because you can either give it or take away the power of anxiety, mental health, your struggles. And obviously depending on how traumatic it is, depends on how you let it affect you. For me, it's been amazing because going through counseling has let me be myself again and has made it so that I'm more comfortable talking to other people, has improved relationships, has made me more honest because I felt guilty about thinking so bluntly about certain things, about certain people, and things like saying to my sister, like, hey, you are loved, and hey, your husband shows you this every day. Don't think you're not loved, kind of knock it off, kind of, being more blunt with people and not feeling guilty about that, I think is something it's drastically improved how I interact with people. It's allowed me to think differently about like when companies approach me being like, nope, I'm not going to take it just to take it. And then, you know, creating and culminating relationships with companies that provide products and thinking about future interactions with them and down the line. But I do think there's been progress in normalizing the fact that people are going through mental health issues and it should be treated just like physical ailments. A lot of athletes have come out and admitted that they've been struggling with mental health issues. Kevin Love, Dak Prescott. Yeah. And I think also during the pandemic, because we were all stuck at home, then there's things like agoraphobia, and struggles that we dealt with during that, and then people are all of a sudden supposed to be back out in the world, and we were all told like, hey, stay away from people because it can make you sick, and then all of a sudden you're like taking those people that were maybe close to feeling that way anyways, and then we're given comfort in like that, and sometimes it's an excuse for behavior, and then comforted and being told that that's like an accurate way to behave, and then now you're trying to get out of it. And I'm in there too, like I struggle to leave beyond a comfortable distance from my house if I'm not in a vehicle or like some place with somebody and fellow people that I can um get back to the comfort zone. So that's also another thing, that I think having your technology with you, if you're out and about and you have an issue, some people's reaction is, "Oh, I'm having a panic attack. I must be having a heart attack. Call, 911 or something, or I need an ambulance." Or like they'll push it to the point where they pass out. It's like, well, what you can do is you can call somebody. You can put in earbuds and play music. You can go to the grocery store when it's practically empty, put in earbuds. Maybe they have a transparency mode, have it in your pocket, have music playing low in the background. You can have an audiobook playing, have something that distracts you. I found that mental health, the greatest tip I'll give somebody is distract yourself, because then you don't focus on it. So for me, I'm highly observant of my own body. And what I mean is like heart rate, breathing rate. And so when that feels off to me, having my watch or, a way I can look and see my heart rate and be like, oh, it's really not, 140. It's only like right now, 84, because I'm excited about what I'm talking about. It's really not that bad. And then you can relax yourself down. You can count, you can, look at the second hand and count your breathing. You can bring yourself back down, but just distracting yourself, talking about, looking at other things, scrolling on social media on your phone and laughing at comedians, learning new skill sets. Maybe there's something that your mental health is anxiety, and Maybe it's learning something new. Maybe it's learning to play a new instrument. Maybe you really don't like cooking and it makes you anxious about because maybe you feel like your family is going to think, oh, this is gross, or is going to hate it, and you're having family come over to visit because you haven't seen them in a while and you're nervous. So you can look up recipes. You can find apps where you put in the items you have around your house. Maybe you're thinking, well, I can't afford to buy all this stuff, but you have stuff in your cupboards. Finding the apps where you put that in and then it spits out, here's all the possible combinations of things you can make. And here's the things you can make if you just had these 3 extra things, and you think, oh, I can go to the store for $5 and buy these extra, an onion and maybe some other spices and things. So research, understand. The more you understand about yourself, the more you understand about other people, the more you look at your technology and really understand where it benefits you, the more I think you will improve your life and your understanding. And so technology, I think a lot of us just look at it as like a simple tool. Oh, I'm going to take pictures with it, or I'm going to record a video, or I'm texting or emailing, or doing work on it, but like basic stuff, and don't really look at how much more it can improve your life utilizing it. Even things like being able to connect up your phone and use it like a full-on computer, like DeX mode, I can, use with my Samsung here, or Motorola has Ready for, and OnePlus 12 has a video out, and the new Xiaomi has video out over USB, or you can, Chromecast your Pixel to your TV, and doing things like maybe you like to sing, but you don't like your own voice, and maybe you can't go out to do karaoke because you're still nervous about going out and about, or you just don't have time to get home late from work. But hooking it up to your TV, singing along. Apple Music has the feature where you can dial the vocals down, and then it brings up the text and scrolls it along. You could sing along with it. There's a bunch, like hundreds or thousands of free karaoke songs on YouTube. It's your choice in how you interact with technology and how the technology interacts with you and what benefits you can get from it. Sharky says, getting more into audio-only podcasts. It's arguably more mentally relaxing than watching YouTube videos or live streams. No offense, Michael. Plus, I'm finding I absorb and retain info a lot better. Yeah, the one thing I really want to get into as I'm getting back into streaming more and more is potentially offering these as audio only over on other feeds, like over on in other, like through Spotify and stuff. But right now, some of the income struggles I'm dealing with and getting that out, but that's changing and getting better, and maybe some tax money is going to be going into figuring out how to do that. But getting the paid version of StreamYard so I can grab just the audio part of it and download it will be great. I might not be using StreamYard after a little bit because there is what used to be Melon app, which is now owned by the company that does OBS. And they have a way where you can grab just the audio section from a live stream. And, that would be great. Even I'm back to using my desktop computer. I got that fixed. So even setting for local recording, maybe picking up, finding something equivalent to like a Rodecaster where you can do local recording on an SD card and doing local audio on that and grabbing it. Just doing a little bit more with it so people that like to just listen. The other thing, though, is, whether you're using an Android phone or an iPhone, there are ways where you can have just the audio of your YouTube video play in the background. You could swipe it away and do a picture-in-picture and then swipe that to the side. You can turn off picture-in-picture and have background play. I know that might just be a YouTube Premium only thing, but there are ways around that. I know that like YouTube Music, for example, sometimes it's like a music video, but then you can go into the YouTube Music app and just get the audio. So, watching, just listening to content, you know, helps. So if you don't, if you come across this live stream and you're like, oh, I don't want to listen to them talk about mental health, or this might be more, I, hope you made it this far, and I hope you think about that a little bit different, and maybe just play it in the background. Um, support the channel by doing that, whether you watch it or not. Just playing it in the background can help. Sharing it with somebody who maybe is dealing with mental health stuff, so you can, use your time to help other people. I want to go and show you real quick here. I'm going to go to my playlist, and I'm going to go. I have one called meditation, and there's this video. I'm not going to play it, but guided meditation for relaxation. It's a channel called Great Meditation. I play this almost every night. It's 10 minutes and 24 seconds. Most of the time, I don't make it all the way through the video before I fall asleep. And for me, that's very unusual. I had a hard time sleeping for a number of years. Sleep tracking, that's the other thing. So with these smart devices, sometimes you can set your phone next to you and it will actually pick up, and watches will pick up if you're snoring or not. And they'll monitor your motion, your movement, your heart rate, and just kind of determine if you were in a deep level of sleep, a medium level of sleep, a light sleeper. Did you go into REM, rapid eye movement? How well did you sleep? And even without that, without technology, ask your significant other, hey, was I tossing and turning a lot? Maybe they'll pick up on it. Utilize, you don't have to utilize technology for some of these things. You can utilize your relationships, utilize other people, and benefit from it as well. So I'm going to go through the chat here real quick. Miles, thanks for coming by. Ike, thanks for coming by. LaShawn, thanks for coming by. Michael Cochran, thanks for coming by. T, thanks for being here. Angelique, thanks for swinging on by. Shark Fin, nice to see you. Barry, what's up? Ed, how's it going? Ron, awesome to see you. Anybody else, if I missed and you were in here, thanks for swinging on by. I am usually live every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about just random things. Try to have guests on more and more. Speaking of that, in a couple weeks will be a special live stream on March 11th. March 10th is my 34th birthday, so March 11th I'm going to try to do like a birthday celebration, get some guests on, get some people to come in and talk about different things. Start doing backup, some creator interview, creator discussion type of thing, getting some new people on. If any of you in the chat are kind of new into content creation and would like to come on, like I said, hit me up, Twitter DMs. It doesn't have to be tech. It can be anything. We don't even have to talk about content creation. I love just getting to know people. If you're somebody who maybe you want to get into live stream and you're not really comfortable with on your own, and you would like to, have kind of your first experience of live streaming with somebody, I love doing that too. I've had people in the past that their first live streaming experience was with me, and now they have their own podcasts and stuff. So that's interesting. With that being said, I appreciate you all for swinging on by. Monday night tech discussion. I think that's what I'm going to call it now. Monday night tech discussions. MNTD with MPT. And I hope you all have a blessed rest of your Monday. Don't forget, throughout the rest of the week, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Gadget Goddess with her stream. Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Wired Wednesday, as I call it, with Easy Computer Solutions on his channel. Thursday, we have Ike. Friday, we have LaShawn. Holla at your boy. He was in the chat here. I will try to post these in the description down below, the links to each channel. I'll try to remember to do that. Monday, afternoon, Monday morning, depending on your time zone. At noon, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Juan Bagnell does his podcast. Also Thursday, usually Thursdays around 11 p.m., sometimes a little bit later than that. Juan and TK Bay do have their live stream podcasting that they do, Best of Our Week. Saturdays, usually we have, sometimes we have digital slang. And Sundays, El Jefe, as well as earlier in the day before him, usually there is Sam and Joe have their podcast, their stream. I'll put everything in down below. Yeah, Monday is a good night to do it. I found it's very, some people are watching sports stuff, but it's always good. There's not a lot of other people streaming, and there's not necessarily a ton going on. It's a good beginning of the week, so I can talk about things that happened over the weekend, announcements that are coming up, things of that like. And yeah, there'll be certain weeks that I might switch and do like a Monday night and then do a Thursday night if there's been an event, Tuesday or Wednesday night. So thanks for watching. Of course, if you are new to the channel, subscribing would be great. If you like this stream, this video, give it a huge thumbs up. If you want to help out the channel, again, check out those links where you can support the channel there at the Buy Me a Coffee. You can check out some of my writing and things like that, and some photos that I post from whatever devices I'm using at the time. And at my Patreon, of course, if you want to, there is always the Cash App there. But just sharing this, just being a part of the tech family, just subscribing, just watching is the best you can do and help me, continue this journey. And I will see you all next week. Of course, I will be in the chat in most of the live streams throughout the week, supporting my fellow content creators, pushing for, great experiences, improved mental health, peace, love. See y'all. Peace out.